Welcome to Dirt Diaries, the podcast where the women of agriculture get real. From muddy boots to boardrooms, we're digging into the unfiltered stories of the FarmHers, ranchers, and every her shaping the future of ag. This isn't just shop talk, it's real talk. We're covering career paths, big wins, hard lessons, and everything in between. So whether you live it every day or you're just ag curious, pop in your earbuds and get ready. These are the raw, inspiring, and wildly relatable conversations you won't hear anywhere else. Let's dig in. Hey y'all, welcome to Dirt Diaries. Today's guest is someone you may not always see in front and center, but I promise you've felt the impact of her work in a big way. Emily Sharkey is a creative force behind the SharkFarmer brand, serving as executive producer of SharkFarmer Radio on SiriusXM Rural Radio Channel 147, producer of SharkFarmer TV on RFD-TV, and the booking powerhouse who makes sure ag stories keep hitting the airwaves. She's the heart and the hustle behind the SharkFarmer operation. And she also happens to be married to the SharkFarmer himself, Rob. In this episode, Emily opens up about her journey back to farming, the struggles her family faced across generations, and the innovative solutions that help them stay afloat. We talk about the evolution of the SharkFarmer podcast and TV show, and the pride that comes from overcoming obstacles in both business and life. Emily is warm, witty, and as real as it gets. And I know you all are going to love getting to know the woman behind the SharkFarmer brand. So let's do it. Let's get dirty with Emily. Okay, another episode of Dirt Diaries. And we are live from Farm Progress here in Decatur, Illinois. Emily Sharkey's joining me now, which, I mean, our viewers on RFD-TV, they just love your family. And so thank you so much for taking the time. I know you guys are busy running around, but to sit here, chat with me, this is just such an informal and casual podcast that we do. But we like to get to know a lot of the women, you know, who just are the ones that make things happen, get them done. So tell our listeners and the viewers on YouTube just a little bit about yourself and you and your husband and what you guys do.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me. It's a joy to be on. And yeah, it's been a joy to be at Farm Progress. We've met so many amazing families, farmers and ranchers. So I grew up, I'm what you might call a skip generation farmer. So my grandparents on both sides, both farmed corn and soybeans in Illinois, and then they had Hereford cattle. So I spent a lot of time with them on weekends and in the summertime. And my favorite memories are going out looking for sets of twins that were born overnight with my grandpa and seeing if anybody needed to be bottle fed. But I would say that my grandparents really didn't encourage my parents to come back to the farm because it was they had been through a lot in farming. And so I think that they thought it was too hard of a life. And so with my dad, he became a soil scientist, and my uncles went on to do other things as well. And then at that time, my mom on her side was a woman in farming, and that wasn't a thing then. It really wasn't even considered to have a woman come back to the farm. So she had an older brother. And so that's kind of how I became a skip generation. It wasn't till Rob and I met that I got back on the farm. So I was excited to be back on the farm. I knew what that meant. And so Rob and I met at a 4-H dance when we were 16.
I love that.
He came up, asked me to dance. It was Lady in Red was playing. Very romantic. And we've been together ever since.
So did you guys grow up around each other? Were you kind of in the same 4-H club or group?
We weren't in the same 4-H club. So I grew up in Princeton, Illinois, whereas he grew up in Bradford, which is where the family farm is. And we were in different 4-H clubs, but I owe a lot to 4-H because that's what brought us together. So.
And it brought you back to the farm. And I want to go into that a little bit more because this is obviously not the first time I've heard that. And it happens quite often because of some of the times and challenges that farmers and ranchers have had to face. It does skip generations and it discourages, some family members and generations to come back or continue farming and ranching. Now being back in it and loving it before, what are your thoughts more deeply on that? Because it's a hard life sometimes.
It is a hard life. For me, my biggest thing was, finding a role on the farm. When we first came back to the farm, I had an off the farm job, which is honestly, I had a degree in zoology. Oh, wow, and so when I came back, I thought, probably I will have a job off the farm. And so I trained polo horses and played polo when we were first married. And that was, I was riding 12 horses a day. So it was crazy. It was busy. But then we also had an outfitter. Rob and I, when we got married, we went through a lot of like hard times. When we got back, Rob thought that, he wanted to throw his hat in the ring, so to speak. Being fifth generation, he's like, he grew up raising hogs, and he's like, he goes, I think we could do this. I think we should raise hogs too. That's what I know how to do. And so we got all in, and we rented some hog buildings and filled them up. And little did we know that was the hog market crash. Oh. So we went through some tough times when we were first married, and it was really hard. I remember, we were broke. That broke us, the hog market crash in 98. And so we really had to sort of think out of the box how we were going to stay, because, originally we didn't even know if we'd be able to stay on the family farm. And so we had to, I remember, like, we didn't even have money to like fix our car when it broke. So we were riding our bikes around to get places on the farm. So that tough time, looking back, I feel like that's when some of your best ideas come about. When you're cruising along during a good farm economy, I feel like everybody's just kind of, okay, this is what we do and this is what we've always done. But then I feel like when you go through a hard time and you're like, gosh, are we going to even be able to stay here and do this another generation? And there's so much pressure, it really makes you sort of think out of the box. And that's when we took over a producer-owned buying co-op at the time. And so we had like 70 different farmers and ranchers buying things from us. And we started an outfitter, and that was 26 years ago. We started the outfitter, and the outfitter is really what kept us on the farm. It was, thinking, okay, how can we make money on our farm? And so we did. We brought hunters in from all over the country. And again, when you do something like that, and you step out, you're like, gosh, I don't know if this is going to work. But we thought it would work with a farm, and that's sort of what saved our farm. It took us 7 years to pay off the debt. And we were told to go bankrupt. We were told to start over, and we didn't want to do that. So we had to think out of the box. So the outfitter saved our farm and is why we're still there today. So,
but on a personal level, obviously that brought, I know there's probably tense times at home.
Absolutely.
When that was happening. But it brought you two closer together. And then on a business level, and just being stewards of the land and loving this industry, but understanding it's a business, it's how you put food on your table. That's challenging. You wanted to stay in this, like, to the nth degree.
Yes.
Because you could have took the easy route and just filed for bankruptcy and got out.
We could have. We could have. Yeah, when you're the next generation coming on the farm, there is pressure there, but you want to be there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was a very, very hard time, but, thinking back, it also, that's sort of what started the podcast, which started everything for us too, was, we had a hunter come in and they're like, you got to do this podcast. Well, gosh, that was like 2016. Nobody even knew what a podcast was.
That was like before you guys were doing that, before like podcasting was a thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy to think, right?
It is crazy. No one knew how to download them. It was hilarious. They're like, now how do you do this? How do you download this? So we sort of like hit that just at the right time with a podcast about farming. But, then that brought in all these other challenges. Rob's really creative, and he was, when he started that. But then, I remember, he had a following on Twitter, and, it was kind of that time in Twitter where they just said wherever they wanted, it was the guys on Twitter, And so I remember looking at that podcast, it was exploding. And I remember thinking, okay, like, we can make this a business. And, I have a zoology degree.
Which is, we got to go back to that in the polo at one point, but that's very cool.
Yeah. And so, I looked at that and I'm like, okay, I think we can make this a business. But I had to learn that. I didn't have anyone to go to and say, okay, how do I get advertisers for this podcast? how do I work with big companies? How do I talk to their marketing people? Like, how do I do this? I had to just learn it. We had to just like be willing to hit the ground and figure it out, because I had no one to ask.
Yeah. And again, going back to that, was like podcasts weren't popular. That wasn't a thing yet. People weren't really doing that. So when you guys went to advertisers or trying to, get anybody to bite on that, I'm sure that was challenging, even explaining to them what you guys were doing and like seeing the vision.
It was hard. I mean, at first, going back to when he was on Twitter, we would laugh. Okay, so Rob and I are really close, like we're best friends, and we never fight. And I remember we were traveling, we were taking our daughter to Cincinnati. She was a ballerina and she was going away for an intensive for the summer. And we were stuck in traffic, and we were just getting started thinking about advertisers and things. And I remember bringing up to Rob, okay, like we need to be really careful about like what you say and what
he's like,
and he's like, don't edit me, don't censor me. And I remember thinking, no, do what you're doing, but maybe just, maybe not with the cuss words, and maybe not with some of the farm talk, like maybe just we'll do it in a different way. And I remember that was like our first big fight. And it makes me laugh now, but it was true. Like he felt strongly, which is why the podcast is a success. He felt strongly about what he can say and who he can interview. Be careful if we wanted to have advertisers. And I think that was like the point where we're like, okay, let's figure this out. But I remember it being a conversation that I laugh at now. I mean, we've probably had a few big fights our whole marriage of 29 years. And that was one of them. It was like, what can you say? And what can't you say? And what does this look like? And how do I invite people that go to my church to listen to this? And so it was really funny thinking back about it now. But yeah, we had to make a choice. If we wanted to work with conservative advertisers and get a great message out there, we had to be careful.
Which that's a fine line, right? Because you want to stay true to who you guys are, authentic. He's like, that's my thing. Like, that's why people will appreciate him being transparent and just being himself, but also understanding like, oh, we got to walk this fine line of, be yourself, but like, not too much yourself, right? Yeah. Because, it's going to be offensive to people. So I just find that fascinating. Okay, we got to go back to the polo and the zoology. Like, what made you go the zoology route first? Like, I'm obsessed with going to zoos. So this is cool.
Yeah, I would say, growing up, being on my grandparents' farm, I mean, I loved animals. So I always figured I'd be a veterinarian. And so I chose, Southern Illinois University at Carbondale. And I enrolled undergraduate, and I started taking classes, zoology classes, ichthyology classes, which study of birds, herpetology classes, study of like amphibians and reptiles.
Those are really big words.
You name it.
Like, wow.
I took them all until I got to organic chemistry. Oof. I couldn't do it. I'm I'm not good at math. I don't math. And you have to do that in organic chemistry. And that was when I realized, you know what, I'm not going to make it to vet school. I can't get through the math. So then I sort of pivoted and then just took all of the, ecology classes and ag classes and just different things that go with a zoology degree, which is the study of animals. And I figured I would work with animals in some capacity, just not as a vet.
I love that.
And then when we graduated, we got married a month after, and then a job opening came up in Peoria, Illinois, training horses, which growing up, showing 4-H, that's what I did. Yeah. I showed Western Pleasure.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did.
Did you ever show Hereford cattle just when you guys had cattle? Okay.
No.
Or your grandparents?
No,
that's right. Okay.
My grandparents were not on the show circuit.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
They were just more, got it.
Yeah. Just raising beef for food. So, so I got into horses as a kid and then got into Western Pleasure, and I kept my horses since we lived in town. I kept them at the fairgrounds. Yeah. And I would ride my bike over there, and I'd have my dog with me on my bike, going up and down as I pedaled on my lap, riding with me every day to the barn. And I'd wave at the people at the car dealership I'd go by every day that see me go every day on my bike.
And I'd wave again.
And ride my horse every day and work at the vet clinic when I was in high school. And so, so it made sense to train horses and ride horses. And I loved being around them. I loved doing that. So.
And then the transition into polo.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, obviously you're a very skilled writer then, like, because I mean, that's a different, I mean, it doesn't have the saddle horn, like just all the things.
Right. It's more of an English saddle.
Yeah.
I mean, you use your legs, you hold on, and you are barreling down
You're like
the
just,
field, 100 miles an hour. I mean, it's so much fun. It is dangerous.
yeah.
So when, of course, when I got pregnant, I was done because, you're going to get hurt doing it, but I loved it.
What an
really
adrenaline
enjoyed it.
rush.
Oh yeah. And the travel, I'm a travel person. And so, you traveled around and played polo and trained, but it was working the horses out every day, making them better. And it was good.
It's so fascinating to me. That's like, you're like a unicorn with like zoology, farming background, ranching background, and then polo. I mean, that's just amazing. Okay. So take us to where you guys are now today. I mean, you've been married this long, best of friends. I mean, teammates.
Yes.
And you guys travel all over and really have been able to stay true to who you guys are and what you guys are doing. And I mean, Shark Farmer, it's just everyone. Yesterday when, Rob was up here, I mean, everyone was in this booth because like they love you guys.
Yes.
Like they feel like they know you. They feel a part of you guys and your journey. It's really cool.
Yeah, it has been. It's been neat. When we started the podcast and then when we got on rural radio on SiriusXM, we really wanted to highlight farmers and ranchers that were like us, everyday farmers and ranchers that, have a story, because everybody has one. Like we sometimes talk to presidents of organizations and things like that, but not so much. It's really just the people who never get heard. And, it used to be like when we were kids, if you wanted to tell your story, you had to like tell it to the newspaper, right?
Yeah.
And they had to come out and take a picture and, put it in a newspaper, and it was such a big deal. So you didn't hear everybody's stories, which, now that's all changed. So on the XM show, we really try to go all over the country and get people who are entrepreneurs or in every facet of ag and have them tell us what makes them tick. And so I produce our XM show, and I ask every time I have somebody on, I say, send me 4 things you want people to know about you. And that'll help us ask questions that you care about. And so they do. They send me their info, and then I get on and do a little research on them, and we have the most fun. And I hear every day, like, I'm not that interesting. Like, why do you want to talk to me? And I'm like, yes, you are. You have a story to tell, whether you're first generation or 8th generation. And so we love that, doing that together every day.
Has there ever been a time where a story's just really like knocked your socks off, that you were like, whoa, this person, I mean, is so compelling, and I can't believe they're sharing some of the things
like on a daily basis.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, because really, like, probably 70% of the time we're not even talking farming and ranching. We're talking about challenges, right? What people have been through, how they had to diversify to stay on the farm, or what they had to do when, something didn't go right. And so, yes, every month we have, every day we have somebody new. And I sometimes, like, when we're running the podcast, I'm in charge of, running the levels to make sure everybody sounds good, and sometimes I forget what I'm doing because I'm so interested in the conversation. I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to commercial now. Okay. I'm supposed to be turning this down and turning this up. And so, but it's fun, but we do a lot. We care about people a lot and what makes them tick. When we started this, like I said, I had a zoology degree. I mean, I had to learn all this. I didn't know how to produce a TV show. I didn't know how to produce an XM show. I didn't know how to find guests.
Yeah.
So it was like I was baptized by fire. Like I had to learn fast.
And how has that been? Because again, technology has like even just evolved over time, but have you just been able to keep up with it? I know there's some people, I know Jomo helps with like the TV show and things like that. Like there's more that goes into a lot of this, but that's also what people don't realize. Like what you guys make, there's so much behind the scenes to like make that happen.
Yes. So much behind the scenes. Gosh, probably 6 years ago, we started traveling, speaking around the country to tell the story because people were interested in, and we wanted to inspire people. And so we feel really, really strongly about inspiring people to do that next thing that they've been like, it's been rattling around in their mind for a long time. Like, but they maybe didn't have the guts to do it, or they were afraid people would laugh at them. And so as we move around the country, there's always somebody who comes up to us after the speeches with a neat story or a neat challenge. Mm-hmm. And so we spend a lot of time talking to people about, okay, like, you have this idea, you need to do it. What's the worst that's going to happen is you're going to fail. And so that's part of our big message, is that you might fail, but that's not the worst thing that's going to happen.
Yep.
You just have to come up with another idea. And sometimes people just need to hear that, because it's the worst to think that people are laughing at you up at the local, shop or over coffee, or, oh, did you see what they're trying in their field? That's dumb. Well, maybe it's not. And so we spend a lot of time as we travel, which it's crazy, the travel schedule that we have, but that sort of feeds all the content that we have. So if we're out in Washington, we might go to a tulip farm for SharkFarmer TV, and then we end up talking to everybody there and hearing their story, and I'll get 10 guests for the XM show. And so it's sort of a content beast that just feeds itself while we're traveling.
Which, again, just a lot of time, energy. But like you said, you guys love it. You love people, and you can just feel that, and you can see that, especially when you talk about it. Has there ever been a story that you'd never got and you wish you did, or a guest that you wish you guys would have gotten? Or do you have a dream guest?
Gosh, that's a hard one. Well, a dream guest, I suppose I'd want to have Mike Rowe on, because, he's so kind of into dirty jobs and agriculture and all the things. So, of course, there's always people like that we have to have on the show. But, while I dream to have those people on and want to have them on, it's still more about just the everyday rancher and farmer and encouraging them. So, yeah, I guess it's what area that we haven't been in a while. And it's so funny, because after we'll do a week and I'll look up, I have a whiteboard. I'm a whiteboard girl. Like, everything's on whiteboards and Post-it notes. Yeah. And I'll look and I'll be like, okay, we were in Washington on Monday. We were in Texas on Tuesday. We were in Ohio on Wednesday. All talking to different people around the country on the XM show. And I'll be like, where haven't we been? And so I'll look on the map and be like, okay, we need to get somebody from Utah, or we need to get somebody from Florida. And so I think that's the challenge, is just that there's so many stories. We're never going to run out of them.
Yep.
It's just to get new places to highlight people.
Do you ever get people that are like, hey, you haven't got anybody from our state, or you're not telling this story?
Yes.
That happens,
yes,
right?
It does. It does. I feel like farmers and ranchers everywhere have a lot of the same challenges, and they're all like salt of the earth, like wonderful people. I mean, they'll spend hours after a speech talking, and we love that. But I also think that each place specifically has its challenges, whether it's water, or whether it's endangered species on their ranch, or whether, whatever they're battling. So we do like to give them a voice to tell, because sometimes, even as much as we travel, I'm in my own little bubble. I'm like, gosh, I didn't know that was an issue there. Yep. Well, a lot of people feel that way. If farming and ranching isn't on the national news every day. Mm-mm. And so I don't know what's happening in Florida unless I have somebody on, or I don't know what's happening, water issues in Washington, or city encroachment on farms. And, I don't know that until we ask. So yeah, it's basically getting to new places every day to hear those challenges, I would say.
And you guys are seasoned people, and again, you're a strong unit together. But as much as there's cheerleaders, I know, and people that love what you're doing, there's also the critics. Over time, I know it's probably gotten easier, but does some of it still sting a little when people are not nice, I would say?
Luckily, we don't have a lot of people saying mean things.
Good. That's good.
But when we do, yeah, it does. It hurts. And we have to stop and figure out, okay, is this just somebody who has the guts on their laptop with nothing else to do to just, critique us? Or is what they say have a little validity? Like, do we need to, pivot in any way? And most of the time we find out it's just somebody being mean. And so it's really such a small percentage. We just let it go. Yep. But I think that also comes from starting so long ago, on Twitter, you couldn't take comments down.
No.
So you kind of got a thick skin to that, and you just learn to deal with people. Like, you can't censor people. And so now when I look at the Instagram and Facebook and different things, like, you can take comments down. We don't. We just, if somebody wants to be mean, we just leave it up. I mean, that's them. And we usually don't say a word and don't spend any time on it.
Yeah.
So,
and that's smart. That's good advice.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that it doesn't sting. I mean, people can be mean, but for the most part, people ask, most of the time it's just something silly. Yeah. You know, they're just being picky about, oh, you should have done this on the show instead of that. So,
right?
Yeah.
They're like, well, you
Rob's beard's getting too stringy. Yeah. He needs to go get, like, really? A stringy beard. Okay.
I get it. I've heard that. It's like, wear your hair back, less makeup. You don't look relatable, farmer ranchers. And then this season, wear it back, less makeup. They're like, gosh, what's she going through? She looks terrible. I'm like, oh my God, you can't make anybody happy. Yeah. But, and it's all about the people, right? The stories. And, okay, we're going to play some fun games and then we can go back to the serious stuff. Wait, before we do that though, have you ever got SharkFarmer? Like, are you guys farmers of sharks? Have you guys ever had people stop you if you're wearing your gear?
All the time.
Okay.
All the time. Weekly. We still get emails.
Catchy name.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So when Rob first got on Twitter, he thought it would be fun. Our last name is Sharkey and we farm. So SharkFarmer. Well, little did we know,
right there.
Thousands of emails later going, do you guys farm sharks? How do you farm sharks? In Illinois. No, we don't. So we still get asked that. And then we still get asked, do you guys really still farm? Because, they see us all over interviewing people. And it's like, yes, we do. We are real farmers in Illinois farming corn and soybeans. So
and you're like, and not sharks. And if you find an ocean that has not been discovered in Illinois, please let us know because, you would be the first one. Okay, now we'll go to this game. This is just to break the ice. And so it's just some fun questions. And so people can get to know you. Do you have a habit or a weird habit?
Oh my gosh, a weird habit.
Should probably ask Rob this question. I'm like, he would probably answer it. He's like, I know all our habits.
Oh, that's a tough one. A weird habit. I don't know. I mean, if it's a habit, it probably isn't weird to me. Oh, see, we should have asked him. Yeah, I'm okay. So I'm pretty particular about my front porch. So I have flowers, ridiculous amount of flowers on my front porch. And so he teases me because even when we leave have to catch a plane at 5 a.m. I'm up at 4 to make sure the flowers are watered. Okay. And that the bird feeder's filled and that the dogs are fed and that the porch looks good. So I suppose that's
you're like, that's my habit. It's just the porch.
Yeah.
Hey, I get it. Yeah, it's like the first, viewpoint.
Yeah. Well, and then we had swallows try to overtake it and build nests on my porch, which that's what I get for bragging about the fact that I washed the siding, washed the porch down, had most beautiful flowers ever. Well, then the swallows came in and pooped on everything and ruined it. And I'm like, that's what I get. That's what I get for bragging about the porch.
Yeah. You're like, I should have never. Do you have a guilty pleasure?
Oh, okay. So I have a sweet tooth.
You do?
So, So, we have a bakery near us called Trefker's Bakery. And oh my gosh, every time we have any excuse to get anybody's birthday cake or we want to celebrate any little thing, I'm running to Trefker's. It's Trefker's cake. It's chocolate cake with white frosting.
Ooh.
I could eat a ridiculous amount of it. Yeah.
When you guys travel to, do you have a sweet tooth on the road? Do you tend to go to sweets? I mean, when I travel, I'm kind of like, no rules. And I'm like, I travel all the time. I should stop acting that way because there are rules.
So I got addicted to Alani's.
Oh.
And every flavor of Alani that you can imagine. Although because there's so much caffeine in Alani, I really could only do one a day, 2 at best. And so I had to kind of kick that habit a little bit, but
she's bouncing off the walls.
I was. Oh my gosh, I'm jittery on the plane, in the car, doing all the things, talking a mile a minute. But yeah, I would say the Alani's were besides the Trefker's cake, I had to figure that one out.
Nothing better than a good local bakery too. Somewhere close by.
Yeah, support local.
Yeah, support local.
So
yeah,
I can do that. I can eat all the cake.
Yeah, you're like, I have to. They need me. Do you have a hidden talent? Which I feel like now, zoology, polo. Maybe those aren't hidden.
Yeah, I would say what people don't know about me, the hidden talent would be that I'm like a total nerd when it comes to biology, and I love science. I'm a science nerd. I mean, give me a microscope and let's talk parasites. I mean, I like love
okay, this is a hidden talent. Wow.
Yeah, I loved it. My favorite class in college was parasitology, the study of parasites, and who their host was and how they move through the system. It's ridiculous. I'm a science nerd. I love that stuff. I love looking at things under a microscope. I love being out in nature. I love, watching snapping turtles in the pond. And I mean,
love all that.
I love all that science. Yeah.
We need people like you. I mean, because there's a lot of us who don't even pay attention or notice that stuff. So that is a hidden talent for sure. Something that makes you laugh.
Something that makes me laugh. Okay, so our youngest, Steven, who's in high school now, he worked with us on the pharma course when school was out. And we have our oldest, William. So between them and Rob, they have this old man voice that they do. Ridiculous. So they tease each other relentlessly because being brothers and then their dad, they tease each other. It's ridiculous. Like, we can't do anything. They can't trip. They can't wear something weird. I mean, they're always teasing each other. And so they do this old man voice, and it goes back and forth between them. They answer their own questions. They act like old men, and to a T, they come in and do this old man voice, and it's ridiculous. And it makes me laugh every single day. It never gets old. Every day on the farm, I have these three old men going back and forth.
Three old men are just going back and forth. Yes. See, I love that. Bet people didn't know that at home either about you guys. Do you have a favorite condiment that you use in excess?
Barbecue sauce, baby Ray's barbecue sauce. I can put on anything. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, that's it. That's my go-to.
Yeah.
If you could be on a reality show, which one would it be?
Oh my gosh, I always wanted to do The Amazing Race.
I was going to say, I feel like you guys could do The Amazing Race.
I feel like
we should nominate you guys to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. We need to get on that because I feel like you guys would be really good at that.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I feel like we would figure it out. Like,
solve
the world's problems
on our list. I feel like you guys would be fun on that. That would be cool. And they're like, they've been all over. They want to travel more. Like, why not? Do you have a really distinct moment of pride?
Business wise, I feel like when we were told to go bankrupt by the guy, the lending guy in our area that was supposed to know, that gives everybody the advice. When he said, you guys screwed up, you're done, like, call it quits. Don't do this farming thing anymore. And we stayed up till 4 a.m. discussing, does he know what he's talking about? What are we supposed to be doing? Are we leaving the farm? We really screwed up that bad. And we decided to pay that off and take 8 years to pay off every dime that we owed, every company that we owed. So when I think about that business-wise, I would say that was probably one of the things that we're the most proud of. Absolutely. is doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Believing yourself over somebody else sometimes, and taking a risk on yourselves is sometimes a better payoff for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, this game's called Behind the Mic Confession. So you finish the sentence, and it could be fun, honest, whatever you want it to be. The weirdest pitch you've ever received was?
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure there's a few. Rob's in the crowd right now laughing, so I'm sure there's been a few.
Well, oh gosh, I hate to say it because I wouldn't want anybody to know I was laughing. We get ideas for a TV show all the time, or ideas that somebody, hey, I've got this idea we want to do, and they're not always fantastic ideas. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know if I'd pick out one.
I get it. And if you can't out anybody, I mean, too many people know who you guys are. It might be coming and messing up your front porch. You don't want that. Rob's most chaotic recording day was?
Oh my gosh. I would say one of the most chaotic. So when we travel, we usually do the XM show ahead of time. And so, there was a day when I set him up with 6 XM shows and 2 podcasts all in one day. And we literally jumped one to the next, to the next, to the next. And it was chaos. And then we literally had just enough time to like throw our stuff in the car and make it to the airport in time. And I thought, okay. But we also do that with our PBS show. We have a weekly show on PBS and we don't go every week. And so I set them up with 10 in one day.
Wow.
To do. And we went literally we arrived at 7:30 and we left at 6 and did 10 shows in one day. So I had
that is so
10 guests because I'm producer of that PBS show too. So I have to find guests for that. And he kind of laughed at me and he's like, 10 was probably a lot. Maybe not 10 next.
He's like, I can't see straight. I can't talk anymore. My tongue is twisted.
Like, but we did 2.5 months of shows in one day. What's not to love about that? And he's like, yeah, my energy drink wore off like 3 hours ago.
He's like, here, have some Milani. You're like, try this. The best part of producing stories in ag is,
gosh, when we hear from somebody later that said like, I needed somebody to like bounce this idea off of, and you guys didn't laugh and you said, why don't you do it? And it ended up being a really, really good thing for our family. And that feels good. That feels good when somebody said, you told us to do it and you took the time to sit down and say, okay, think of this, and think of this when you do it. Maybe that'll help you along the way. Because we do often jump on the phone with somebody and say, here's a couple pointers. This is what maybe tripped us up along the way. And to hear that it helped somebody or helped their farm or helped them get closer to their kids or took their kids along with them. We love to hear that. That's probably, yeah.
And that's special.
Yeah.
Makes it worth what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
One day I will write a book called
oh man. Probably some sort of a book on all the travels and all the crazy stuff that happens along the way. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we were laughing about this the other day. There was a week that we were in an airport and there was a woman trying to get luggage, 5 suitcases on one of those things that you roll around at the airport up the escalator. She decided to go up the escalator with it and it all came back on us. And then it literally the next week, a guy fell on the escalator and Rob caught him going down and same thing. And so like all the crazy things that happen when you travel that you're supposed to make look like flawless, that is not.
It's like Shark Attack, the tales of traveling.
This is where there's one time I was sick and
all the things.
Yeah, all the things.
Okay, this game is TV take or radio redo. I'll pitch a segment idea and you decide if it's best suited for SharkFarmer TV or SharkFarmer Radio or neither. A family hay bale obstacle course.
SharkFarmer TV. Yeah, that would be visibly really fun.
Yeah, like and better visually, right? Yeah. A soundbite only episode called Ag One-Liners.
I think that would be a good Christmas episode for the XM show.
Oh, there you go. Farm Dogs of America, Behind the Barks.
Oh my gosh. Probably SharkFarmer TV. Yeah.
Love that. I almost lost my card. Oh, FarmHer takeover episode.
SharkFarmer TV.
Yeah. I think that would be fun. Outtakes and awkward intros. Like you can pile them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That would have to be SharkFarmer TV because we have to take those out all the time.
Yeah.
Like Rob getting bit in the back by a cow or something. Like,
oh my God. Yeah.
It happens. Like the cuss words that get taken out when that happens.
I understand that. One time they were like, Kirby, you said this. And I said, but it had this word in front of it. And I used it in the right context. And they're like, you can't say that. And I was like, but it went with the story.
Yeah, the farm dog who came up and peed on your leg in the middle of an interview.
Yep. You're like, great. Okay, this one's booking or bailing. So I'll describe a potential podcast or TV guest idea, and you say whether you'd book them or politely pass.
Ooh, okay.
A TikTok famous goat whisperer. Like, I'm interested. I want to see what they're up to. A farm couple that argues lovingly the entire time.
A bail. I'm out.
Like, no,
I'm
thank
not
you.
an arguer. No, no.
A guy who only grows pumpkins but has a lot of opinions.
I'd book him. Yeah, yeah.
Someone who pitched their story with 6 emojis and no punctuation.
I'd probably book him. I'd probably book him. Yeah, that'd be me. The punctuation. Yeah.
A grandma who's run the same farm for 70 years solo.
Oh, book him. Absolutely book her.
I love that. Okay, this one's radio ready or too real. I'll read the scenario or quote, and Emily, you decide whether you'd air it on Shark Farmer Radio or keep the chaos behind the scenes. Guest kid walks in mid-interview.
Oh, would probably roll with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone cries halfway through telling their story.
That happens a lot. Thank God for editing.
Yeah, right?
Although sometimes you got to leave it in like it's real.
Yep.
Right? There's a baby. We've had people nursing babies, kids playing. I mean, all the things going on. We've had people that were ready to have a baby.
Oh.
And we're like, well, I hope it doesn't happen while we're interviewing you.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you're like, please, not on our watch. I mean, we're here for you, but no. I once lost a heifer and a boyfriend in the same week.
Oh, we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Talk about that.
Yeah, you got to. Tractor sounds drowning out a punchline. That probably happens to you guys. Like,
yeah, that probably happens. Yeah,
that does.
Yeah, or a plane flying over at just the wrong time, or yeah.
I guess says, wait, this is recording.
Oh, I wish I could put all the things on when they think it's not. Like, are we recording? No. Okay, then we'll say this. Those are the things we wish we could put on.
And then sometimes they're like, wait a minute, we've had this happen too. They come back and they're like, can I redo all of that? And this is after we left, can I redo all of that? Because I don't know if I told the story right. Like, I feel more comfortable. I have all these ideas that came to us now. And we're like, no, we spent 2 days with you. We can't come back. Wait, I'm so sorry. You told a great story. Or did you lie? Like, what happened? I don't know if you guys have ever had that, but we're like, no, I promise you. Like, we would have told you why we were there. We would have stopped you.
Yeah. We have had, people text later and say, could you take that part out that I said about my mother-in-law?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yes, we can. We can take that out.
Yeah, that happens. They're like, ooh, I shouldn't have said that. And definitely a lot of family stuff, huh? Like when that happens, they're like, I don't know if I said that right. Or did I end that with like a smile? Because like, I love them, but working with family is hard. And I'm like, we get it.
Yes.
We get it. And everyone else gets it too. Well, before we wrap up, we like to kind of end the show with Dear Diary. And so if you were to write a journal entry, to yourself and Rob, just about all your travels, about this journey to where you are now, that your future selves could read. Like, so when all of this is said and done, if you could read this way down the road, but you're writing it in present tense today, what would you want it to say?
Wow, that's hard. I would probably say, enjoy the day that you're in and who you're with. Enjoy those moments, and don't say that, okay, when we get through this week or this month or this year, then we'll like slow down a little bit and enjoy the things. No, like enjoy the things then. Because I feel like time goes so fast. Like, enjoy the kids, enjoy the moments, bring them all with, like, enjoy the chaos, take them on the travels, take them on the farm, because a day turns into a week, turns into a month, and you never slow down. Things never slow down. And to just enjoy the moments that you're in, even when you're working really, really hard, or when the kids are really little and changing another diaper is really annoying. To try to soak it up in that moment, because it goes too fast.
Yeah, I love that. Well, again, Emily, thank you so much for joining me. Shark Farmer, not Shark Farmers from Illinois, but Shark Farmer. You can catch them anywhere. Tell us all where they can watch you guys and everything that you have going on.
Well, of course, they can find SharkFarmer TV on RFD-TV. Our PBS show is on WTVP PBS and on Acres TV. And then you can find us on SiriusXM every day and Weekend Edition on Saturdays and Sundays. And Shark Farmer Podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, they're not busy at all. It's crazy. They have lots of free time. Again, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story and digging in with me on Dirt Diaries.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Give it up for Emily, not a shark farmer. That's it for today's episode of Dirt Diaries, where the women of ag leave no story untold. If you loved what you heard, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone else. Until next time, keep showing up, speaking out, and getting your hands dirty.